Santa Clarita Insider Show. I'm Connor MacIvor. We have Tim Blankenship on board. Welcome to another show. We don't have a guest scheduled today, but we will next week and the week after. This is what's going on. Tim and I are going to discuss topics, things that went on during this past week, and also what is cutting edge news. Tim, how are you? What's going on?
Not a whole lot. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Everything's just peachy.
Glad to hear it.
I'm sore.
Can't believe it's Tuesday again.
Yeah, it's already Tuesday again, and I'm sore. I haven't been sore in a long time.
Sore from working out?
Yeah, I changed it. I changed Dorian Yates.
I told you before, you remind me of Dorian Yates with your posts of everything to failure.
Well, I started kind of adopting his little routine. So I'm out of that 50 minutes, 5-0, but I'm wiped. I mean, I'm shaky bad wiped.
Oh, really?
There's hardly any rest. Yeah, superset everything. Sometimes, triple supersets. Is that even a thing? A triple superset? Yeah, bam, bam, bam. And then
Dorian
do it
Yates,
again, do it again.
Yeah, I follow him. I don't know if he's just doing more posts, but he's out there a lot now with putting out new videos and talking about you never really need to do cardio if you kind of work out in that HIT mentality and supersets and everything to failure. Your heart rate, and when you follow that, my heart rate is, in that HIT kind of mode, 140, 150, which for my age is, right where you want to be when you're doing cardio.
Same. Yeah. I'm huffing and puffing in the gym. I'm breathing heavy. I'm sweating like a beast, and it's funny to look, and a lot of people just aren't really there.
Where are you working out now? Did you change gyms?
No, still there at Gold's, and
okay.
we kind of I've been around a few others on guest passes and stuff.
The background on occasion looks different.
Yeah. Well, I try to switch it up a little bit more out there, shooting stuff every once in a while. But yeah, it's good. I like they all seem to really have a problem. I mind myself and stare at the floor and don't look at anybody and try not to talk. I'm just busy. I'm not trying to be rude.
Yeah. Are you doing that every time where it's kind of all out with every set and every muscle group and all that?
Everyone. Yeah. There's no easy day really. I'll do 6 days. I take 1 day off completely. 6 days. And that usually encompasses maybe a 2-hour, 1.5, 2-hour walk sometime in the day as well. Besides the workout.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I do have a 3-day split now where I'll do quads, calves, and hams, and that's my leg day. I used to have that combined with something else, like a push-pull day, but I split it up into 3, and I seem to be growing again. And then I do neck, forearms, biceps, back, and then the 3rd day it's shoulders, chest, and triceps.
Okay. That's could turn into quite a long workout. How many sets are you doing per muscle group?
I'm doing 4 exercises per muscle.
Jeez.
And 5
We're talking
sets
about a 2-hour workout.
Yeah, 5 sets with a burnout. But here's the thing: since I switched over, and I have very little rest in between sets. In fact, some leg days I won't even put the bar down. I'll just stand there, and then I'll do it again. I'll do my 5 sets in that way. And then usually that's brutal. That's a little tough. And then the last set, I'll go ahead and I'll do 5, and then I'll do a 6, and I'll just break down the weight to maybe half and just rep it.
Okay.
So, but it goes fast when you're focused. You don't talk to anybody. You can get it done in 50 minutes, and that's where I kind of see Dorian Yates kind of coming through.
And that's where the supersetting comes into play, because you're not doing a set of chest and then waiting 4 minutes with nothing in between. That's when you'll hit your shoulders and your other muscle groups in between. That's what you're doing, correct?
In a way. So basically I'll have 2 benches set up, one for incline, one for flat. And I'll go from incline overhanded to incline reverse grip. I'll change the weight. So that'll be my superset there. And then I'll switch it over where I'll do just flat bench press, and then I'll do flat bench verse. Okay. Or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's still 5 actual, the volume's there, for sure. And the time under strain is there. Oh, and I've started really holding on to that negative too. So I'll explode the weight and then slowly back it off. And I'm starting to do that. So I'll be holding on to the weights for, additional 45 seconds, maybe 50 seconds without racking them.
Yeah.
So just time under tension.
And it's funny because you can switch to that type of workout where if you were just doing, 5 sets of say 12 reps of bicep curls, but instead you can even drop the weight and, go 15, 16, 18. And just if you go to failure, you get hits a whole different muscle fiber. And because,
Right.
you and I have been working out pretty consistently. So I don't get sore anymore unless I really take it to failure every set. And then I'll really feel it the next day.
Yeah. This is that change. I was resting, a minute and a half in between exercise. And it was a 2-hour deal to get all that done. 2 hours easy. But when I switched over to this, get it done in an hour or less, wow, that pain, it's still, and it's a deep muscle pain. It's still there. It's fatigue. It's deep. It's in the shoulders, deep in the shoulders and the chest, so but it feels the legs really brutal too. So I'm standing up. So
I was going to ask you, it looked like you were standing today. Yeah.
Yeah. I got everything raised. Well, the desk anyway. If that makes sense.
Oh, gotcha. That's nice.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You're doing these heavy workouts and every day and all that. How is that working, coinciding with your fasting schedule? How are you setting that up?
Yeah, I'm still fasting multiple days per week. So my thing is usually Sunday evening, I'll quit eating. I'll feeding somewhere around 4 or 5. And then usually I won't have another meal until Wednesday evening or Thursday morning. It just,
you're doing what, what's that, like 60 hours
72
or so?
or 80. Yeah, 72, 80-ish, 80-hour fast. That seemed to work well. And then the other few days I'll protein load. So I'll have an overabundance of protein for Thursday, Friday, at least 300 grams. That's just powder plus food. So whatever food I have. And usually the caloric intake though isn't that great, maybe 3,000 calories for those days.
Yeah.
And
which would put you right about even, right about.
Yeah. I'm not dropping anything, but I am watching as I become a little bit more dense in the muscle areas. I'm getting more cut. I'm seeing stuff that I've seen, so I think that works out for me. And plus what I like about the fasting is it just ramps me up. It like puts me into high gear. When I'm not eating anything, it's like I'm just super hungry. No pun intended. I mean, literally just hungry to go get things done, to attack things, to attack problems, to attack issues, just get there and just hammer it, just get it finished. And I notice that a lot more. I've noticed that drive coming to the surface a lot more when I'm doing these fasts throughout the week. And then, it's me and the other days too. But I mean, like yesterday, I didn't, after Sunday, yesterday evening. So I went about 24 and I had some roast beef and, low carb tortillas and some cheese, so nice balance, maybe 100 grams of carbs, maybe 1200 calories last night. And I probably won't eat today or tomorrow. It just kind of just feels good,
So you don't have a strict schedule where you stop on Sunday and not till Wednesday or Thursday. You just as needed, as you feel the need to do it.
Yeah, just kind of if usually a week happens, just don't know if maybe it'll start Monday, it'll start Tuesday, or it'll start Sunday, but there's really no have to. And I monitor the scale. I'm still watching everything. So I'm holding right about 230, 235. So that's where I'm kind of, I think my body's found that steady state, that set point.
Set point, yeah.
But I just have to be real careful because most people that lose weight, and there's a lot that do. I mean, there's a lot of people, it's a lot more than that 1% figure that you hear about. But the 1% comes back because they can't keep it off. So 2 years later, there's where they were bigger. And I've done that for a long time. I've never been like this lean, but I've come back from a good 60, 70 pound weight loss, 8-pound weight loss. I popped right back and got even fatter. And I realized back then that I did a number on my metabolism. If you look at the show, was it World's Biggest Loser?
Never watched it, but I heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had these people on there. Will they ever have a repeat show? And this is through, I don't know if it's Jason Fung or one of these doctors that I follow that's all about fasting, but they don't have a repeat show just for the simple fact that there's nobody has kept the weight off, and they've gotten bigger than they were before because they crash their metabolism.
I remember hearing about that. Maybe it was from you, and they said they don't have a reunion because right, they don't have a reunion show.
That's right, a reunion, right? Yeah, they've
Yeah,
just it's sad, but you know, we were told as kids, I don't know if you were part of that generation, but when I grew up, it was right when Ansel Keys, that Seven Nations study about how fat is the problem, we got to get rid of fat, when that broke, and that was like in the early 70s or mid 70s. And I remember my mom always trying to lose, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 pounds, whatever it was, ever since I
yeah,
was a kid. She latched on. So we had all of this candy with no fat, all of these sugary treats, no fat. And basically, the research was so new. She said, "Well, eat what you want." Boy, that did enough for me. I got
no, I
fat
bet.
quick and I stayed fat. Yeah,
Yeah,
it worked out great.
yeah.
So,
The I've done the fasting as well. Not as much as you have, probably not as consistent, but you have to kind of find what works for you because there's so many
mhm,
variations, right? There's the 16-8, there's the OMAD, one meal a day. There's the
yeah,
warrior eating within a 4-hour window.
yeah,
And I kind of went down that path of trying out different things. So you kind of have to, a lot of people refer to it as getting like your fasting muscle in shape, meaning, start with
mhm.
like I don't know,
Kind
a
of
12-hour fast.
willpower, kind of
Yeah,
dealing with the ghrelin, the hunger. Yeah,
exactly. Start with maybe 12 hours, then go to 14. I kind of baby step into it. And it will. And with me, I noticed I walked right into a 4-hour window. So it was a 20-hour fast. And then I was going to one meal a day. And then, I wasn't, that's nice because you're very productive. You're not eating, you're not cleaning dishes, you're
yeah,
not doing all that. So that part's nice. But I want to say after like a month, and I was losing weight, then kind of that flattened out. And then I really felt like my metabolism slowed at that
mm,
point. Um, so I think it's not something you want to do long term necessarily, but I've been reading a lot more about what you're doing these more prolonged fasts, just maybe less often. Because once
yeah.
you're in that state, right, your body's using the fat stores, and you're not doing that refeed for a couple of days, and you're literally just using that as energy. Like everything you burn is literally coming from fat.
My brain, I finally, and this took a long time to get this drilled into my head, but what made me so successful is just continue this process was telling myself I'm eating a full meal even when I'm not eating. My body's not stupid. It's not going to starve itself or die. It actually, as long as I have stored body fat,
Yeah,
I'm going to eat a full meal, all the protein my body needs, all the sugar, all the whatever it needs. It's all going to be kind of what it needs. I'm going to eat a full meal. In fact, Tim, the best food, the most nutritious food, because it's exactly what your body needs.
right.
Exactly. Down to the macronutrient. It's exactly what it needs. So I could do that, or I could go try to get something similar elsewhere. And I know I can eat good food and clean food and organic and grass fed and all that horse happy stuff. But
Yeah,
today, what's better? Well, I've convinced myself that I like eating out too, but if I'm not going to eat for a day or two, no sweat. And
yeah,
like you said, the metabolism ramps up. So your metabolism your body could have started to realize that maybe this habit was something that it could contend with. So maybe then it did adjust your metabolism. With the
yeah,
longer fasts, even for extended fasts, we don't ever see, or I haven't ever seen a study that shows a metabolism slowdown
hmm,
in that time. Angus Barbieri, I think he might have been Scottish. He's famous, longest fast ever, 382 days, I believe. And he had a multivitamin and black coffee. That's
hmm.
that's what he had. Multivitamin, water, black coffee. And he had that for over a year. And
No,
that's
that's
all he
crazy.
had. He torched off a lot of body fat. He lived, he didn't die of that, didn't kill him because he had the body fat to burn.
Right.
but it's hard to get over like ghrelin, the hunger.
Yeah. Did you ever need to do any of the hacks like pickle juice or I don't know, take salt water or what's the not salad dressing, but what's the I don't know, I can't. I have a big jug.
Dr. Bragg, apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, exactly. You ever have to do that at all or?
You know, I my best fast was 14 days, water and black coffee only. Best fast. I didn't supplement with salt, but I hadn't been doing any long-term fasts like that, maybe 2 or 3 days. They talk about getting those electrolytes up, the salt, potassium, magnesium, and taking those in supplemental form, either through pills or no salt's great because it's loaded with potassium. That's the ingredient that makes it salty. So you mix that with a little bit of water, drink it. You got a lot more potassium than those 99 milligram pills, which I guess is max they give you. And then, you know, salt pill from Walmart. I cheat. I take the pill. I've tried to mix salt and water and down. Ugh, it's horrible. But
You ever put any in
I
your
didn't
coffee?
really, huh?
You ever put any salt in your coffee?
I've tried it. It's just not me.
Yeah,
I can't get it down.
takes getting
It's
used to.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, like you said, but I went, you know, cold even now when I fast. I eat plenty of salt during the week. I have my blood work done because I'm on a testosterone replacement therapy or TRT. So when they look at my blood work, they look at all my potassium, sodium, everything's in check in that.
Yeah.
All my blood work's perfect since I dropped all this weight. Before I was a walking nightmare. Now I'm normal.
Yeah, you know, in the fasting world, it's interesting because, like you were saying, you're having a full meal, and I would tell my wife, you know, she goes, "Are you eating today?" And I said, "I'm eating myself for dinner."
Yeah,
And
right. That's
that's
good.
how. And you have to pay a little. At least I did play little mind tricks. Like when if I, stomach was growling, I was like, okay, I just got to get, this is going to last about an hour. Just get past it. It'll go away. That means you're kind of getting into that fat burning mode, right? Because there's nothing to digest. There's no food in your body except for the body fat. And so I kind of use that as a motivator. And then I would notice that, like, sometimes I would think, like, when I was first getting into it, I would feel like I was, like, the whole day, like the first 20 day, I did a 24-hour fast just from like 6 p.m. the night before till 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. the same day. The whole day I just was focused on when I was going to be able to have that meal. That eventually went away to the point where I would finally eat after maybe a 24, 42-hour fast, and then realize it just wasn't as exciting as I thought. Like, it just it wasn't so satisfying. It wasn't like this wonderful, like, amazing, like, you started to lose interest in food a little bit, I guess, to a degree.
Sure. Yeah, no, you really do. I know that the hunger thing has always been an issue with a lot of people when you tell them, oh, I'm not going to eat for a couple of days. Even you tell them that you're not going to eat until the next day at the same time, they lose their mind.
Yeah.
Oh, I never got my blood sugar this. Well, the thing is with your body, it's pretty clever. It knows what it's doing. So if you go on this you quit eating, your body makes adjustments. It fixes it. You quit drinking water, and this is something that's total cutting edge, but it's this in different cultures. They actually do what's called a dry fast. So you don't, and then there's different levels of dry fast. There's something called a black fast, which there's no contact with water because your skin's porous, you'll absorb it. After a while, like a camel, your body makes something called metabolic water. It'll make up to a couple liters a day. Metabolic check. Yeah, absolutely. So metabolic water. The interesting thing is, typically when you diet, you actually shrink the size of the fat cell. You shrink it. So it's still there in all its entirety. When you go without water, and after a while, and again, this is just, we're just entertaining here, but I've done this for a few days. What happens is your body goes into the fat cell. It combines the hydrogen in that fat cell with oxygen from the air and actually obliterates the fat cell to make water. So it goes to the adipose tissue to make the water. And it has to break the fat cell and destroy it to find the hydrogen from it with the oxygen that you're breathing that's in your system. But it'll make water. And it's the best water, filtering involved, if that makes sense. So the 1.5 liter, 2 liters is plenty because it's so perfect. There's no filter.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So I did a
That'd be
3-day
pretty
one of
rough.
those. It's rough. So after a day and a half, but again, seek your doctor's advice, right? All that stuff. You gotta.
Yeah.
This is just. But the regular fasting, the hunger goes away. You're right.
Yeah. Did you ever find one of the issues? I think that's why I stuck to the 24-hour fast. Kind of 1 meal a day deal is if I tried to go, because the best part of if you can skip that deal to go that meal to go over 24 hours, that's all free fasting once you fall asleep, right? Because you're not your body's not you're not awake. You're able to sleep and get an extra 8 hours of fasting. My body, because it would, I forget what the condition they call where your body goes into not shock, but overdrive, right? There's a terminology for it. What's that?
Yeah. You couldn't sleep.
Couldn't sleep. That was the downside. I felt like my mind was going a million miles an hour and I wanted to just go be productive.
You wanted to destroy, you wanted to hunt something.
Yeah. But that would happen that would go all night long, just tossing and turning, just wide awake. Like I mean, not like having coffee, just complete overdrive. I think like my heart was racing, everything. Yeah. So that's the tough part about that for me. I don't know if that eventually would go away if I stuck to more, prolonged fasts.
It does go away over time, but it took a while. It took months. I was still laying there like, oh my God, I need to go out and destroy something. I need to go lift something or hunt something. It was, but that's one of the attractive parts of it. Plus, not everybody can do it or not everybody is willing to do it, I guess. I gave up all that medicine I was taking back in the day because of the fasting. So I reset my system. Plus, getting rid of 135 pounds of fat doesn't hurt either. I found that the fasting was easiest. So if you talk about minimal caloric intake, where your body, the point where your body, whatever this number is and it's very specific per individual, but where your body thinks it's fasting, there's a certain caloric amount a person could potentially get to. And then the body switches over and says, uh-oh, now we're on restricted calories. So now I'm going to lower my metabolism. Usually it's maybe over 500 because Lindor, I think they're set at 750 or 1100. The metabolism's fast. When you're fasting, your metabolism actually goes up. So there's a lot of things that happen physiologically, but and metabolism goes up. Your body secretes more growth hormone, preserves the muscle. The body doesn't go after protein and muscle. The body goes after stored adipose tissue and fat because that's what's stored on your body. That's what it's for. But with that, I noticed that over time, that hunger hormone went down. And I started feeling it was just so much easier to conduct these fasts one right after another. And then without all the medicine, everything else in my system, I just knew it was right. Metabolism went up. I didn't have to worry about a metabolic crash and I can go in and out of it. What I was going to tell you though, the body's a two type of fuel system. So it can either be a sugar burner, carb burner, or in ketosis, fat burner, that type of burner. So in order to be in ketosis, maybe everybody watching kind of understands it, but you have to restrict your calories until you burn off whatever sugar's in your system. And somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 calories, your liver is going to hold a sugar. So once you get that, you're in ketosis, as long as you have no other sugar coming in, you haven't eaten sugar, you've stuck with, fat food, protein food, and not too much protein either. You got to be careful. That'll initiate a glucose response also.
Right.
But if you keep those down, you're in ketosis. Fasting is easy. Well, if you're already there, it's that switch over about 24 to 36 hours that's painful when you're a sugar burner primarily, and then are fasting to get into ketosis and then more prolonged. That's painful. That's painful for me. And still to this day, that's a horrible place to be. I can, but after 24 hours, I'm angry. I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I'm that ghrelin is like, Connor, you need to eat. Because it knows I've cheated before. I failed. So it's just waiting for me to give into that box of donuts.
Yeah, right. Can you speed that up by exercise? I imagine you could, right? You'll burn off some of that glycogen sooner.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Oh,
could go for a nice 2-hour walk, go do HIIT training and a workout on top of that. You'd probably burn through that in that cycle. HIIT
yeah,
training, 2-hour walk, and a workout. You'd finish it.
yeah. That way
You
you can be
definitely.
angry at noon instead of at midnight.
Yeah, that's actually a brilliant hack, Tim. Good job. Yeah, you could really burn through it. Absolutely. And as long as you didn't have a whole bunch of stuff waiting to be digested, like pies and cakes and
Yeah,
cookies, just waiting to get you got to
yeah,
get rid of that too. It's get stored.
for sure.
So,
For sure.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got to finally talk about the fasting. You'll be able to get some good with your local recording I was talking about. You'll be able to get some good clips out of this so you can post.
Yeah, you did. You've took off a lot of fat over the years. You were a big fella there for a while. You got real
You know what?
lean.
I guess I was the only one that didn't know that. Um, I guess it kind of sneaks up on you. COVID kind of got me, I guess. I didn't, we had a gym. I was working out, not aggressively, but when
Right.
you're wearing stretchy shorts, I guess it sneaks up on you. But yeah, I'll look at pictures from 3 years ago. Yeah, I got up to 300 pounds, and
Oh my gosh. Okay.
yeah. So I was looking at some photos, things pop up on Facebook, and I was like, I'll look. I'm like, who is that? I'm like, and I literally don't recognize myself in
Yeah.
some of them, and I'm like, oh my god, is that? I go, is that what I look like? And then I blame my wife. I go, that's your fault for not saying something. Yeah,
Of course.
that's
Good.
called taking
Good.
responsibility.
See, that's interesting. And you were lean before. You've been lean most of your life, right?
Yeah, I've been not lean per se. I've always been, carried a lot of muscle, even if I didn't work out. Um, Always able to put, if I did work, I've always worked out to some degree, except for some injuries here and there. Torn rotator cuff, couldn't work out for a while, and my knee, I was out for a good 6 months. But so in those times, I would put on weight, or I just completely stopped working out. But yeah, I could put on muscle easy. The losing the weight, I think I kind of really messed up my metabolism just with the times of not eating well or eating high carb. It's when I went to doing keto for a period of time. That's where the weight just started to naturally come off. But then I hit and that's how I ended up getting the fasting. I hit a plateau with the keto after
Mhm.
I'd say 9 months. And then once I implemented the fasting, like we were talking about, that just kind of kicked into a whole nother gear where I want to say keto took me from 300 to 225, 230.
Oh, wow.
And the only thing I added on was the fasting, and that took me from 230 to 190 in about 2.5 months.
Wow.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but I want to say I lost a lot of muscle in that as well, because I definitely didn't
Mhm.
have the size I had. And I think, again, that's because I was doing those one meal a day versus more of the prolonged fast. And I think that's what going into summer, I think that's what I'm going to try and do is the 42, the 80 hours, trying 2.5 day type deals. I think that'll be better than doing the one meal a day or the 4 hour window eating.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think once you get over, there's probably a little bit of a protein burn in the beginning of starting a fast, like if you do like the 24s or 20s. My issue was always they give you this, and they don't explain to people we're talking about fasting, they give you this 8-hour eating window or this 6-hour eating window. So
Yeah.
it's like me, I'm gonna eat for all 8 hours if I'm not eating the rest of the time, right? I mean, that's the mentality.
Yeah, that's the secret to that. They say you still need, eat at hour one, fast
Uh-huh.
between that, and then eat again at six. Like that's if you're in a 6 hour window, eat twice,
Right. Right.
or once, but yeah, not continuously through through
Yeah, I
that
mean,
eating
it's
window.
time to eat. I'll
Yeah.
be eating for the next 6 hours. Give me a call. Yeah, but it's stuff the fasting for me really was the game changer. And now it's become very much second nature. And you can't fast without dropping adipose tissue.
Right.
There's no way around it. Your
Right.
body and it usually ramps up metabolism. You get close to a pound a day. And if you're a real big person,
Sure.
you'll burn over a pound a day. And
Yeah,
if
because
you
what is
look at
it?
gastric bypass, gastric bypass surgery for the
Uh,
first couple weeks, it mimics fasting. They're not able to eat above that caloric threshold that's going to invoke metabolism. The body's going to think it's fasting. Now, there's going to be a lot of doctors that are probably going to try to shoot a few holes into that statement, but realistically, there's a number. Of course, nothing's like absolute don't eat any calories at all fasting. But, there's a lot of people that have some significant, amazing changes in their bodies when
Yeah.
they do they just, they got to have something. So they have a little something. Is that real fasting? No, but I don't know. It's working for people. So gotta just be willing to be flexible.
Yeah, I guess there's some study that says if you have 500 calories or less, you will kind of
I've
continue to
seen it.
fast. Yeah.
Right.
Or even
But then,
a fat fast, right? Just putting cream in your coffee or something like that.
yeah, like that bulletproof coffee stuff. And yeah, they
Yeah.
have people, well, the autophagy that starts to take place is effective. Maybe that's true because you really haven't started healing anything. Your digestive system is still active, getting through those calories. So when your digestive system, and I would almost argue that black coffee, there is calories in it, maybe 7. I mean, it's super low,
Yeah.
but you could almost argue that, if we're going to do it, if you're really going to do the fast thing and take all of those little variables seriously, then just water. Not sweetened water, nothing in it. Water, just plain, not fizzy water, just
Right.
plain regular water. That I fizzy would do anything, but you have a different chemical in there making it fizzy. So is it carbon dioxide? Is that what they put in there?
I don't know what's in there, but like
Or,
they're saying even the chemicals in like those bubblies and whatnot,
yeah,
that
it
they
kicks
have
off a
some.
little bit of something.
Well, there's this whole, I'm sure you're aware of the theory that, and I don't know the technical term, but when your tongue senses sugar, so even if it's like a fake sugar, right, that doesn't have calories, your body will still trigger.
Palliative insulin response. Palliative. Yeah, it's with the tongue insulin response. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I've just
So
found,
yeah, once it
if
tastes
you're,
it,
if
yeah.
you're, yeah, if you're going to, I found it's just easier not to eat, right? You're feeling hungry. If you can just get past that hour of hunger and just continue the fast, because you'll eat. And I think that, you're going to eat something small. It's just going to stimulate additional hunger. That's personally how I feel. What about you?
Yeah, no, you're 100% right, especially the sweet stuff. If you can't fight that off, and then also what you mentioned, you take insulin is a wonderful, wonderful peptide. And the reason why it's so wonderful is if you give someone just insulin without food, they gain weight. It's almost like a miracle. Without in the absence of food fasting, insulin will make them gain weight. I don't know how that's even possible, but it's possible. So you know what I mean? It's almost like it comes down to a mathematical experiment. It doesn't seem like without calories being supplied how they could, but it's great when you eat something sweet. And even when you're fasting, your body, I've read studies either that does and it doesn't, but let's say it does, it secretes a little bit of insulin into your system.
Right.
And it's not going to help, you losing weight. That's alcohol is another wonderful, wonderful concoction because that stalls everything for about a week. Even one drink.
It's interesting on that
Stops
the liver will convert to digesting the alcohol, and until that's gone,
acetyl something, yeah, some poison.
Yeah, and until that is completely out of your system, everything you eat goes straight into your fat stores.
Yeah, it's remarkable. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and let's have beer. That's even better. We'll just have a glass of gin.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Well,
Good talk on that. We can talk about that for days.
We could just do a whole show on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to. We were going to talk about the crime, and I know this is supposed to be a show about. Right? This is supposed to be a show about Santa Clarita, but because we border the city of LA, let me share my screen. And they didn't cover this too much at all. Let's see if I can share this. On the news, it was a little blip on the news a week or so ago about, what was the headline here? LAPD to stop responding to these 911 calls under new proposal. So there's a whole list what they're proposing, and I want to say this was from the Police Protective League actually made this proposal because they're trying to free up law enforcement for emergency calls. But the calls that they're no longer going to respond to is a lot of kind quality of life issues
right.
that you or I or anyone else wouldn't want to have. people loitering or throwing, under the influence in front of your home, fatal accidents, someone with mental health, these are pretty bad. Like if you would call, you would hope someone would come. Landlord tenant disputes, someone dumping
look at
trash,
number
abandoned
13.
vehicles.
Person dumping trash.
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
what is this? What's going to happen to the city and there was one in here that said, syringe disposal, so needles on the ground.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
so somebody bringing a whole bunch of syringes and dropping them off in front of your house.
Well, yeah,
No
I mean, I
problem.
think this is used. They use a syringe and then they,
Yeah, no,
put it
there's
on the
no crime
ground.
there.
Homeland encampment cleanups. I mean, I don't think they've been doing that for years. Panhandling, illegal vending, illegal gambling. Imagine all this going on in front of your house or on the street, and no law enforcement. That's what they're proposing will show up. So I just think it's fascinating that this is where it's gone to, and what they're going to do is implement these non-law enforcement folks. I guess they put $1 million towards funding of an officer of unarmed response and safety.
Oh, wow.
So that's the plan for the city of LA going
like
forward.
Citizens on Patrol for Police Academy. Remember those movies?
Exactly. So
that's perfect.
I think the city of LA is going to end up being a San Francisco and a
this comes
Seattle.
from the league. The league is the one that started this, huh?
Yeah, which is interesting, right?
Yeah, that's kind of got it. I would have been nicer if the city would have done it.
Yeah. So
the mayor.
yeah, I think this is just going to be a further downward trend in the city.
That's horrible. Boy, have you seen some of those videos? Some of them went viral about people confronting other people that were dumping trash on the side of the road. It's like Pinfield, maybe San Fernando Road down in the valley. Some guy confronted some cats in a truck, and they actually smashed his windshield with a rock, almost beat him up.
I didn't see that.
The guy was just pulling over to get on the phone to call the police, but maybe he shouldn't have been so visible. But
Sure.
they started cussing at him. What are you doing? And of course they caught him red-handed, but they had a rock and they weren't worried about breaking more laws. But they won't come anymore. So they're not going to respond to a person dumping trash. Well, whatever.
Yeah, drinking in public. I mean, so if the police aren't going to show up and they're going to send some unarmed, what was the word? They always come up with the most creative words.
Yeah. Where was that? On a different article.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out what the name is. Unarmed something. But so
it wasn't Citizens on Patrol.
Yeah, exactly. So what are they going to do? Tell them to stop drinking and there's no enforcement. They're not going to get a citation. They're not going to be arrested. They're just going to warn them to go away. I can't see what they're going to possibly do.
It says this program was said to be modeled after a similar program that's already been established in Eugene, Oregon. Do you like that program up there? Is it working for the people? The citizens? The taxpayers? Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's the question.
So anyways, I don't think that's going to be something that happens in Santa Clarita.
I wouldn't think so, as long as the people love the sheriffs.
Yep. I think our sheriffs are good out here. At least this guy you're talking about that got his window broken, at least he took some action. We were talking a few shows ago about folks that just pull out their camera and record the crime happening, someone being victimized. Sometimes
they got to hurry and get that camera going.
There's a video. I don't know if I just saw it yesterday in Castaic at one of the gas stations up there. You can see the gal's recording from inside her car into the open door of the gas station, and I don't know if it was a transient or just an irate woman who you can see yelling at the I'm assuming the store employees. Right. She walks out, and then right behind her is one of the store employees carrying a shovel, and hits her right over the back of the head, knocks her out cold. So I don't know what the follow up on that was.
Burial. I think the follow up is burial with the shovel. If you get hit with a shovel, you got to be concerned.
Craziest thing. And people just watch that on video.
Yeah, right before you pass out, you look around and say, oh my God, you hit me with a shovel. I would expect to wake up outside the earth again.
Well, it was like that case in New York where that guy walked by, had a bat down his pants. As soon as he passed, just turned around, him in the back of the head,
Yeah,
knocked him out cold. And then I think he was out on, no bail the same day.
Wow. Yeah, I tell you. Well, okay, so let's segue into what I said earlier. If people aren't lifting heavy things and putting them down and repeating them until they can't do it any longer, they have no excuse when the body starts needing doctors. So that's everybody listening. Go lift heavy stuff and put it down and do it again and again and again. You need that muscle.
Yep.
That's where that's gonna hurt. You're gonna break your hip stepping off the couch because you've been neglecting that muscle. Build it. Build it. Build it.
What was this Paul Butler tips you wanted to talk about?
I was just on the Signal, minding my own business, and this cat is all over the Signal. He writes all these little articles, but the one that he put here talked about some 10 points on reasons why I think, basically build a business. And I thought that was good for the people out there that are looking to maybe do that. Number one, love what you do, right? Love you always. Number two, know your customer. That's good for your business and mine.
He's a business. He's a business related.
Yeah, he does other stuff too. If you segue, where can you kick him? I jumped on here, but he has all sorts of stuff on here. 10 tips, love your work, be like Ken. He has a whole stream of stuff here. So anyway,
I pulled up what you sent me.
Yeah. I'll send you this one. It's right on the business. It's right on the business page of the Signal. Yeah, just right on the business page of the Signal. If you click on the top, he's right there on the right. But yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff there. I was grabbing for the show maybe in the future. See where he is. Yeah, it's competitive at the top, right? Hire well, understand cash flow, number 6.
Yep.
Build a brand, number 7. There's divorce 661 for you. Document your processes. That's actually real smart. Keep a journal kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And then time to reflect, take time out of your looking at your business carefully, and then always do the right thing. That's super important. It's number 10. Valuable.
Yeah. Well, very good.
Those are the same tenets that you have at your core. People being taken advantage of. I hate that too. It really bothers me.
No, for sure. This week talking about, I could tell you about a business. I will not lay them out, but I'll just talk about the industry in general. We don't need to, but we want to get our house painted. I think it's due for a fresh coat of paint. So I've called 2 or 3 painters, local painters here in Santa Clarita. Goes right to voicemail. It's just fine. Left a detailed message. Interesting part is I haven't got one call back, and this has been now 5 business days.
Wow.
I think everyone is just rich or spoiled, or I don't know what, because one of the messages said, basically, don't leave a message if your project is not going to be longer than 2 days in length. So they're not going to come paint your room or your living room. They want full house paints, full interior, I'm sure, full exterior. I would imagine that's what 2 days is, but I left a detailed message. I did, my entire house painted, exterior, eaves, paint, trim, whole shot, not a call back. 3 painting companies, no call back. So that's how busy they are, I guess. So maybe we need this recession so people can snap back into, providing a better service. Because I think it doesn't look good when you don't even get a call back to say, hey, sorry, we can't help you. Or, I know that they're probably out, a few weeks, maybe a month on their schedule. So they feel not the need to call you back, but that doesn't follow Paul Butler's tips. That's for sure.
You know what? I was just going to mention Paul Butler. I think he would have a lot to tell this business about how they should operate. This is another good chance for another business to get started out there. Those kids out there looking to paint, just a couple brushes, right? Some paint and some tape. You're good.
Might be a little more complicated.
Well, what do you got? Just a house there you want painted? We could probably pull that off with some beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly.
Yeah, we could do it. I mean, how hard can it be? Famous last words. Yeah, boy, but Paul Butler, he'd turn over, I'll tell you.
I bet.
Got to have him on.
So that's been my experience with trying to get the house painted.
Tell me about, it's sad too, because yeah, that's tragic. That's really tragic. I left a message a few days ago for another business out here. Oh, I was trying to find an escrow company that handled manufactured homes on leased land, because they're not, well, some of them have assessor's parcel numbers supplied, but also they still carry a registration. So they're really not insurable as far as title goes. So some escrow companies don't handle that kind of a product. So I left messages for a couple others that I was referred to, and 2 days went by for each, Monday and a Tuesday. Finally got a call Wednesday. I had found another company because I needed it. But yeah, that was I don't know, maybe they apologized for not returning my call sooner, but 2 days is long.
I think so.
Pretty long.
So you found someone for that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I finally found a person that called me. They actually called me back within a day, so I took it.
And as far as my wife and I, about 3 years ago, we converted our 401k to an IRA, and we can now use that to buy real estate. And so we bought a manufactured home in Canoga Park. We were able to pay write check for it, pay cash for it, and then had it totally stripped and torn down to the studs and rebuilt. And it was an interesting process because it is similar to a home. It is on leased land, but we bought it for her mom to have a place to live. And so we had an escrow. The realtor lived on that site, in that complex. So that's all she did, specialize in manufactured homes. So
sure,
she had to set us up with escrow, obviously. But if they need insurance, there's not a whole lot of homeowners insurance. There's not a lot of companies, but the folks that we've had is called Foremost Insurance. So if your clients need an insurance policy, that's who we went through. And if you need a name, I can give you the rep's name. She's out, I think, in Orange County or something like that.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, please. That would help.
Yeah. Foremost Insurance. So they were easy to deal with.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. We're the worst investors. So we took our 401k, bought a house, fixed it up, and then her mom lives there rent free. So we won't make a dime off her investments. We really need to improve that.
Yeah, I think there's a couple books I could recommend.
Yeah, right. Don't follow our advice.
Oh, that's good though. Yeah, I got a call last week from a guy named Tom, and I'll try to get this right, Smith. And he says we should talk more about politics. He says we don't talk enough about politics.
That you and I should?
Yeah, he said we should have like a segment where we, I guess, bad talk what we don't believe and good talk what we believe, I guess. Oh, and that you should also wear a cowboy hat. That was it. That's all he said.
I have a pair of cowboy boots. That's about it.
You'll have to put them up on the table behind you, kind of sit sideways so we can all enjoy them.
Yeah. Yeah, the politics thing, I think we talked about possibly talking about that in the past. And I don't even know where you stand. We don't talk politics to each other, but I'm sure we definitely have our viewpoints. So yeah, we could look into doing that, I suppose.
Do we just start? I say I support the death penalty, and that's where we start, and then you say something.
Start at the extreme and work our way down.
Yeah, we might as well. Let's get all those out of the way, and then we deal with. I think the guy's lost his mind.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's what you do around folks that maybe somebody, a distant relative that you've really never ever met before. Yeah. Totally whatever, or you just go the opposite way. You know what? I think this whatever late term abortion is great. What do you think? Or whatever. I don't know, whatever.
Just to stir the pot.
Yeah. That's great.
I had this last thing to show.
Okay.
I always love when I come into the office and my computer is off and has been rebooted. But today it was a Windows 11 update. Windows here. So this is good for me. See, I am Apple product all the way. I know you are, except when it comes to my main computer for work. I use a PC. So one of the biggest problems is, you and I do a lot of videos and marketing and whatnot. One of the biggest issues. So this was one of the alerts I got with this update for Windows, is that they're going to make it easier for people with iPhones to be able to access their photos. So you were mentioning the other day, because that's one of the biggest problems for me, is getting my photos because I'll do a lot of videos just directly from my phone, but I want to either post edit them in Camtasia, or I want to get them on the computer and upload to YouTube from the PC versus the phone. So I can go and do titles, tags, and all that. But you can plug in your phone to the HDMI, but the folders you find they're not labeled. You can't find them. It's very difficult to find what you're looking for. So this is going to allow you to access directly the folders, just like you would as if you're on your phone. So it'll kind of mirror your phone. This is because my process now is I record a video on my phone. I then I'll save it from my phone, download it onto Dropbox, from Dropbox back to my editing software for the captions, and then have to either forward it as an email to get on my computer. So it's like 8 steps to get a simple video done. So this will make it simple for, just recording on your phone, and then get it, pull it directly from Windows or from your PC into an editing software. So this is going to, I guess they rolled this out to supposed insiders to test, and everyone should. Are
you one of those?
No, I didn't even know what that was. So, but it said everyone should have it by the end of the month. So we just got a week or so for that to happen.
So this way, what you're going to have an actual iPhoto interface that's downloadable on a Windows platform, I guess.
I guess it's just through settings. You can set this up to where, and I wish it was kind of how I wish it would be via Wi-Fi, where you can just, connect it as a device.
That'd be great.
AirDrop it, because that's what you do on your Mac, right? You're able to AirDrop it.
Correct. Yeah, I drop back and forth from laptop to computer to.
So we'll see how this pans out, but it looks like this will be a good thing for us.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how our face is and how easy it is, because now it's 8 steps, you say? Yeah. So this way it's going to make it maybe 2?
2. Yeah, it'd be good.
He's not, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
Very good. What do we have on anything new on the divorce front? Anything you're still plugging away, trying to set the world straight, one divorce at a time. I like that.
Yeah, just the divorce front is pretty status quo. Kind of still in our stride leading up to spring break for us, which I think is April 1st. That's when we'll kind of taper off a little bit. People are going on vacation, but as always, just a lot of rejected judgments. I want to say it's at least 50% of our business. I think I've said this to you before, just people doing their own divorce, or even like last week, we took on, I think at the end of the day, 4 cases where people were amicable and had a divorce attorneys, and they could not get their divorce finalized, and they were amicable. So that's amazing. And that's fine. We're happy to take those off the attorney's hands, and attorneys are just as happy to get rid of those clients, because we have to complete what's called a substitution of attorney, and we'll complete the form because we know the attorney won't do it, and we'll have the client get the attorney to sign off, and they're getting that done in like 5 minutes because the attorneys.
Oh, that fast.
Well, yeah, because the attorneys, they probably took a flat fee, and they're getting their judgment rejected through the court multiple times. In this one case I was telling you last week, 5 times. Right. And that attorney signed that substitution of attorney in 5 minutes. But yeah, we're able to take those cases over. And it's just interesting that attorneys are not able to get divorce cases through amicably. That case we finalized in 24 hours, and clients signed, uploaded, e-file. This is LA County Court, so we're able to e-file that with the court, and it was approved the next day. So we're happy to take
fast.
those cases. Yeah, happy to take those cases over. And then the other judgment issues come from people trying to do their own divorce. So yeah, half the folks coming to us have got to some point in the process, and then call us to have them finalized, and then the other half start with us from scratch. So yeah, just that's all going well. Doing a lot of those, probably 6 or 8 cases a week just on judgment rejects, getting those cleaned up and getting those resubmitted throughout California. Yeah.
And it's almost every case this involves an attorney that didn't do their job or only really spoke halfway or whatever it may be, or is it a lot of it people trying to do their own thing too?
I'd say half and half. Yeah, half and half. Half are not just attorneys, but other maybe paralegal firms or legal document assistant firms who get stuck in the process because it is tricky and complex, and especially it becomes especially difficult when someone starts their own divorce or uses a service that does the initial paperwork wrong. That sets the whole case up for failure, and most of the time we have to start from scratch. They don't have to pay the fees again, but we have to reamend their petition and start the process all over from scratch.
Well, at least they have somebody that's able to guide them. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, we've been doing this for 10 plus years now, so pretty much got it down pat.
You got it right.
Yeah, got to figure it out. What's going on in real estate?
219 active listings for sale. I know it's been picking up just a little bit, but the buyer is high enough to take that inventory off of the market. The days on market still hasn't changed, though, still around 40, 45. I think that's probably going to come on that debacle in San Jose with those banks that failed. That did a lot. Seemed to a little bit of help for the mortgage world. Not a bunch, maybe quarter to half a point. But
yeah, I read that
very dependable.
I saw that on the news. How is it that the bank failure affected mortgage rates?
I don't know
what was the correlation. Yeah,
I don't know, but I think it was the Fed stepping in, backing them up, made everybody feel more comfortable, like the government isn't just going to abandon these banks, and that somehow cinched up and was able to call banks relax those mortgage rates a little bit. But it's still, 7s, but it just depends on what you qualify for. I was looking at yesterday, a 20% down loan. Okay, so we're talking, nice 30-year fixed 20% down loan versus FHA, because they've reduced the MI to $100 to $150. They've reduced that mortgage insurance. The FHA 3.5% down is actually a lower payment than the conventional, which is higher interest rate at 20% down. The conventional, you're close to 7%. That FHA, you're at 5.6, 5.7.
Why is that?
Just a better rate. FHA is beating conventional world VA2 just right now, and now you can usually get a seller to cover closing costs. So with that help, the buy-ins not much. Makes sense. Those interest rates, historically, they're not bad. Yeah, historically.
So you can get in for less, have a lesser payment. Yeah, and go FHA.
And it's still 30-year fixed. It's still, I was shaking my head. I mean, it's almost like somebody screwed up somewhere, but that's what it is.
Sounds like it.
So, yeah. Made everybody happy. But yeah, it's still moving. Good. Still getting calls, people curious what's going on in the market, but it'll all work.
Well, very good. Glad we got to do those updates today.
So we're going to do a show here next Tuesday. We'll keep everybody posted as to who the guest is going to be, if they're able to come through. If you know anybody that's interested in coming on SCV Insider, Santa Clarita Insider, please let Tim know. We'll put together for you.
All right, Connor, good chatting with you. Hang out with me for a few seconds after I close out this show. So the recordings, I guess, need time to finalize their download before we sign off.
Will do, brother. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. Thanks, Tim.
All right. Till next time, Tuesdays, 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you there.